Hello and welcome to Comedy, Cigars, and Music. And today we'll be doing something a little special. We're going to be doing an interview, and this is the first installment of CCM Interviews. So enjoy the CCM interview with Mr. Kaplowitz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Comedy, Cigars, Music. A new installment for the channel. We're doing interviews, calling them CCM for Comedy, Cigars, Music, naturally. CCM Interviews. And our first guest today, as you might see on your screen, the guy on the other screen, the split screen, is Kaplowitz. And I wanted to make sure to put applause in there because I read a recent study about about applauses after you introduce the interviewee makes things go a lot smoother and makes people feel good. So Kaplowitz, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, and I have to say first, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Now, in the interest of going smoother, I have to say it's a common mistake, but Kaplowitz is just something I had to do to fill out Facebook. You could actually just call me Cap or Kaplowitz, or I refer to myself as Kaplowitz Media.
Justin Cap.
But Cap is good.
So you just want me to call you Cap?
I would prefer that if it was okay with you.
Yep, I got you. I do apologize. I want to apologize to you real quick.
Oh no, that's fine. You're doing great. That's fine.
I
appreciate it.
I'm just sitting in. Keith, I think, is who you've been talking to. He got sick at the last minute. He threw me some information, said, "Hey, I got an interview. I don't want to cancel it. Do you mind?" And he gave me a brief rundown, so I've got an idea of what's going on here.
I was going to ask, but thanks for filling me in on that.
Yeah, yep. So
I hope he feels better.
Yeah. I think it's just a little stomach bug. Nothing major. Okay, so Cap, you're a writer, which is fairly interesting. I did some writing, not to steal the show. I did some writing in my time. I actually got. I was in the high school journalism club there, and I got actually voted top journalist second semester. First semester, I heard I was in the running, but Martha Grimstone got it. Did a real good piece on the tennis racket. So, but that's enough about my celebrity. So you're a writer. So tell us about that.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sure. About my writing, mostly freelance work. Sorry, I think I had a little leaf on my face. Mostly freelance work nowadays, mostly blogging. But yeah, a writer, sure.
What kind of stuff you write? Cigar reviews, from what I understand. You write wine reviews. What else do you write? What kind of things have you written in your past?
Ooh. Well, in my past, I've done everything from poetry to comedy. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two. Also, currently, I'm probably best known for, if you want to say that, for doing cigar reviews. Wine is coming on up there. And I guess I could break some news. Would it be okay if I were to break some news on your program?
Comedy, Cigars, Music, CCM Interviews. Be honored to hear some new news from Cap.
Again, thank you for giving me the platform. I appreciate that. So the new news, now you start off talking about what I write. I just this morning, late last night, this morning, finalized somewhat of a deal. Some of my cigar reviews are going to actually appear in a particular, I can't say it yet, literary journal. And also, as part of that deal, I'm going to be doing some book reviews for the same lit journal that is an online publication. In keeping with that, part of the whole workings of it is I this morning spent all day, began this morning. It's what is it, about almost, what is it, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. Just finished building a blog, a Kaplowitz Media books extension to the Kaplowitz Media cigars and wine. So if I could, I have a URL here. If I could share with your
Absolutely,
audience.
yeah, yeah, yep.
And who doesn't like to read a good book?
Here's what I tell my friends. My friends are like, "Well, we think you read too much," and I say, "Guys, I'm a sucker for a good book."
You sure are. And I guess that URL is, and I guess now this, I might get a more vanity URL, but for now it's kaplowitzbooks.blogspot.com. That's Kaplowitz.
Nice, very nice. Now, I believe you have another website. Can you get to that off that website?
Eventually, I'll link the two. That's
Okay.
for later this evening. I had to take a break. It's, you know, the website building, the blog building. It's requires a break, but
So,
eventually you will be able
so
to
are
do
you?
that.
Okay. So you said you've written poetry, you're cigar reviews, you're delving headfirst into book reviews. Uh, it's a question that I know Keith was going to ask, and it's in my mind. How would you compare yourself to Mr. William Shakespeare? Is
How
there?
to Shakespeare, to the Bard.
Yep, that guy. How would you compare to yourself? If a direct comparison, how what would you say if somebody said, "Hey, Cap, I know this guy, William Shakespeare. I've
Mm.
read some of your writing, and I'd like to know what you think about him. How do you think his writing compares to yours? Yours compares to him."
Well, strictly comparing myself and William Shakespeare, first of all, what comes to mind is I'm probably taller. He was from a long time ago. I believe those people were shorter in stature.
Fair.
When you talk literary endeavoring, I believe that he might have a leg up on me as far as a body of work, but his body of work is complete. Mine is still being added to. I'm not sure if that's a fair assessment. I would also say that I'm a little bit easier to get into because he used that old language.
Yeah. Art thou Romeo? If I remember
And
correct.
such. Yes, yes, and such. So I guess comparing myself to William Shakespeare, I mean, of course, his body of work is superior to mine, but he didn't write about cigars, to my knowledge. I don't believe he did book reviews. I don't believe he did wine reviews, and he almost assuredly didn't have a podcast. So
I'm going to
it
say
might
that
be apples and oranges. It might be apples and oranges.
podcasts back in Mr. Shakespeare's time, I would say were hard to come by, at the
Mm,
least. You might
I
you
would
might
imagine so.
you might go searching, but you might end up under Juliet's window and saying, "Hey, what do you think about the podcast?" And Juliet's going to say, "I have no idea what you're talking about." I think that's fair to say back in Shakespeare time. You'd agree?
I would be forced to.
Okay, all right, cool. Now, from what I understand, you recently have decided to step away from YouTube. Talk about that.
Uh, uh, well, I actually talked to Keith about this. He was seemingly under the same impression, but I have not really endeavored very much into YouTube.
Oh,
Some time ago, I had a few videos up, but I had sponsors pay me to do the videos, and I posted them. And then when it was over, I quietly took them down.
okay.
Um,
There's a note here by that
mm,
question. I have some, and it says, Okay. Yep. It said I shouldn't ask that question. It said the intern was actually supposed to delete that question from my list. So somebody's losing a job they didn't get paid for. I'm joking.
They're gonna feel that. Huh?
Yeah,
You know?
I'm joking. We treat everybody fairly at CCM. Okay.
Hmm.
So do you mind taking a couple listener questions? Is that okay?
There's a
There's
live audio.
no phone line. These guys wrote into Keith and
Oh,
said we'd really like to know this about Mr. Cap.
okay, so it's
Okay.
a different definition of live, but yeah, sure. I'll take. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Did you say live? And yeah, go ahead. I'll ask.
listener, I'm sorry, listener questions. Listener
This.
questions. Uh,
I'm sorry if I misheard.
so okay, this has to do with cigars. So you're the guy. um, do you smoke with your left hand or your right hand? And do you experience different flavor profiles depending on which hand you smoke with?
This is actually a deceptively interesting question. I tend to smoke, and I've thought about this honestly. I tend to smoke with my left hand
Hmm.
because you don't need to. I'm a righty, but I smoke with my left hand, and yeah, I think it's because you don't need to be very nimble to simply hold a cigar.
That's an interesting take.
So I could use my other hand to perform a little bit more complicated of a task, such as drinking some coffee.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that seems like a game changer of an answer, if I can be so bold. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that, and I certainly wasn't expecting the free hand to be doing something.
Well,
Yeah.
you have when you're busy, you multitask. As far as different flavors, I have not honestly paid attention to that.
Okay. Maybe if we have, maybe for next time, you could think about trying that out and get back with us.
Next time, sure.
Okay. So, all
Hmm.
right. This is kind of, this next one's one of those desert island questions.
Oh, I adore those.
Okay, so if you could smoke one cigar for the rest of your life, which Opus X would it be?
Um, so you're asking? I feel as though you're asking me two separate questions.
Well, actually, no. The listener, I'll read it to you again. If you could smoke one cigar
Oh,
for
okay, sure.
for the rest of your life, which
Mhm.
Opus X would it be?
I would have to say I'm actually not all that familiar with the Opus X line. So if you're not asking me what cigar I would pick outside of the Opus X
Well,
catalog,
here's the problem. This isn't.
that's how it reads.
Yeah, this isn't
Really.
my question. I don't know. I mean, you could go rogue and you could just name any old cigar, I guess.
Uh, what if I were to say Opus X?
Okay, yeah, which one?
Oh, okay. What you're not wiggling me out of here, are you?
Well, if you said, yeah, or if you just
Right.
said
Which
Opus X.
I would be happy to smoke any Opus X if I were on a desert island without any other options as what to smoke. So any
Any Opus X. Okay.
any Opus X, any
So
Opus X.
here's the follow up question, and then uh, I'll give the floor to you. So the follow up question for that. So you've said any Opus X. So Mr. Cap, he says he doesn't care. He'll take any Opus X on that deserted island. Now here's the follow up question. It's getting really cold outside. Okay, on this deserted island, would you be willing, if the Opus X band was your only source of heat, you had to set it on fire, would you be willing to burn that band?
I myself would, if I were a more typical Opus X smoker, I would sooner die than to remove the band, let alone burn the band for warmth.
Okay, I'm gonna mark you down for no, because then on those two questions, the answer was any Opus X. Actually, this what this listener wanted to hear, and then what he wanted to hear was no, you wouldn't burn the band, which I think you alluded to. So yeah, he's going to be happy.
I'd say that's plenty fair. That's plenty fair.
All right, Mr. Cap, is there anything you'd like to say before I let you go? Let's just skedaddle out of here.
Well, I just, first of all, again, thank you for the opportunity to appear on your program. I appreciate that. You did quite well for yourself. I understand short notice being what it is.
They call me. They say if you need something done, ask him. He's like the Swiss Army knife around here at CCM, is what they say.
It sure shows. I guess if you're asking me to say whatever, I'm going to have to. Is it okay if I hype again where people could find me online, or do you like to?
I'd be honored.
Well, as of right this minute, from www.kaplowitz.xyz, you can find that'll bring you right to my cigar site. From there, you could find my wine, my podcast network, and as far as like I said, currently right now, to find the book site, which really may be bookmarked. There's not anything up there as far as content yet, but that is, again, I have it written down here because it's brand spanking new. It's kapliwitzbooks.blogspot.com. That'll be plugged into the aforementioned site as far as a link in after dinner.
After dinner. Okay. So very good. Mr. Cap, I just want to say thanks for joining us here at CCM, Comedy Cigars Music, CCM Interviews. We appreciate you giving us your time this evening before you updated your website and before you ate dinner. And we wish you all the best. Good luck with this.
After I did the update stuff and before dinner, basically, I think you chronologically went a bit awry, but that's fine. You're welcome.
Thanks, and we really hope this writing thing works out for you.
Well, you know what? Same to you.
Okay, thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, such things really about my house to amaze and confound me. Well, the way to the world, where I should have known myself. Well, the news and the company.